back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review. Today we're taking a look at Terrifier. I have recently subscribed to Paramount Plus, so I've recently watched The Terrifier, which is on Paramount Plus, and I genuinely only got Paramount Plus to watch the Halo series and to watch the Knuckles series, but I'm getting my money's worth, and I'm watching as much content from Paramount Plus as I can to get my money's worth. But The Terrifier is an indie project, I do believe. It is a low-budget horror movie, and you can really tell, but I have heard rumors that Hollywood didn't want to pick it up because of how gory these guys wanted to make it. So this is number one, and obviously, like every other film review that we do, we're going to go into what Google has to say first, and then we'll go into what I think of the movie and how I retell the story. So, without further ado, Google has to say this about the movie. So, The Terrifier. Art, the malicious clown, returns with a murderous intention to kidnap 3 young women and kill everyone who comes in his way. That is not how the story goes, at all, in fact. So, the story goes with 2 girls out on a night out, and they are absolutely blathered, they are drunk out of their mind, and they go to this pizza place to sort of relax, to chill, and to sort of like sober up a little bit before driving home. Art the clown then sees them and follows them into this pizza place, and they get creeped out by the clown. The other one doesn't and gets selfies with it. The dude who owns the pizza shop doesn't like him and throws him out after he shit all over the toilet and started writing art on the walls in shit, and then sent his cook to clean it as he was throwing him out. We then have the 2 girls walking back to their car after eating the pizza, and they see that their tire's been slashed, and they have to wait for her sister to come and pick them up. The main girl goes into the building to go have a piss, that's just next door. The exterminator dude lets her in just to use the toilet real quick. The clown then breaks into the car, kills the 2 people that were back at the pizza restaurant, and takes the girl into the building. Well, the blonde girl. He then hangs her upside down, and we then have the main girl use the toilet and then accidentally run into a crazy cat lady who has a doll, who actually thinks she's a child. And then she tries running around, trying to get out the building, but all the doors are locked because Art snuck in there and locked all the doors. We then have her running, trying to escape Art for like the next half of the film. She ends up getting captured, she gets shot in the head, and she sees her blonde friend get cut from the sort of middle, in between her legs, down to her chest. Yeah, she was hung upside down, she was, completely chopped in half with a saw. We then see him continue his quest of murder and kill the crazy old lady and tear off her skin and wear it to trick the sister, which just arrived and broke into the building trying to find them, that he was her sister. He then chases her around like wearing someone else's skin. We then have her hiding. We have the dude, like the exterminator dude, get bonked on the head with a hammer, and Art called his friend on the phone to get him over here. He killed that guy as well. They try and escape the building, and the cops get called by the exterminator, who eventually gets murdered. Her sister then gets her face eaten by Art, and then obviously the police see Art, who shoots himself in the head. They get taken to the coroner's place where they check over the bodies, and he isn't actually dead. He did shoot himself in the head, but he's not dead. He is like a mystic, powerful clown. And then he starts attacking the doctor. Then the movie ends. That is it. That is the movie. I'm gonna be honest. It was quite gory. There was a lot of gore. The way he murdered them was fucking vile and disgusting. The blood splatters were awful. I don't think they were realistic, I'm gonna be honest. If he shot himself in the head, the entire back of his head should have burst open just with the compressed air. How he did it wasn't accurate, it wasn't realistic. And they were trying to make it as realistic as possible, but again, what actually factored into being realistic was when he was sawing the woman in half, from in between her legs down to her chest. She was still alive when it was at her chest. She was wiggling, trying to survive. She would have died ages ago. She would have died when it was like at her stomach. There was no way she would have survived the saw coming all the way down her when she was in half. She would have passed out from pain. She would have either died of blood loss or from pain itself. She would not have survived all the way down to it being at her chest. That is just not possible. I don't see how that was possible. We also had a very repetitive with the sort of characters being chased around this abandoned building, this exterminator rat infested building. It was just very repetitive with one character running around and then the sister running around after she died. And they tried to make you really invested in these characters, but they killed off the main characters, which had the most screen time halfway through the film, and then tried to make you care about the sister, which you had barely seen. Like, you've seen her for 3 minutes. There was not enough time to build a connection with that character. There was not enough time to care about that character. So there was no point in sort of doing anything with her. So the second half of the movie felt very boring, and you wasn't really in for it. It didn't feel very connected, and you were very bored throughout it, or I was anyway. I was quite bored throughout the second half, and it was just mindless murder. Art doesn't talk throughout the whole thing. He doesn't speak when he gets injured. He doesn't scream out in pain or anything like that. He just laughs silently. He's like a mime. He's like a mime clown. And I don't know if he has something wrong with his vocal cords. He seems to be some kind of demon because he can survive shooting himself in the head and survive all this damage. But then he also is a regular human who got dressed up at the start of the movie, because we see him at the start of the movie start putting his clown costume back on and get ready to go outside. So I don't actually know what he is. There isn't a lot of information on this character as a whole. He just seems to be this almighty being, and I don't really like that. I don't really like the supernatural being. Most horror stories that actually scare me are what could be realistic. Like if a mass murderer was running about, that would be scary. But if they have supernatural powers, it makes it a little bit less scary because it's a little bit less realistic and less likely to happen, in my opinion. So it's not as freaky, not as scary. And I'm gonna be honest, I have seen number 2, and number 2 is miles better than this one. But you have to watch this one because number 2 is a direct continuation. So this one is shit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. It had good gore, but that was about it. The characters were forgettable. I wasn't really caring about them. I didn't care about any of these characters at all. I thought the nudity was unnecessary for like the most part. Maybe the one where he's sawing her down the middle, that was fair enough. The clothes would have got in the way, so that was understandable. But the rest of it wasn't. And it just felt like a regular horror movie. Like, it had all the regular horror movie tropes to try and get you hooked, to try and get you entertained. It had the excessive nudity. It had the girls as the main antagonist. It had a creepy clown in it. It had a lot of murders and senseless murders. It basically hit all the checkpoints for like the regular basic horror movie, and I wasn't interested in it at all. I put it on because my mum actually recommended the second movie a while ago, and I just happened to see it on Paramount Plus, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's give it a go. So that's why I actually watched it. But do I recommend it? No. It sits at that. Am I glad I watched it? Yes, because it led into number 2, and number 2 was actually decent. Would I watch it again? No, probably not. It was quite shit, as I have been saying throughout this entire video. And I know a lot of you are going to hate me because a lot of you loved this guy. When I was doing like research on this, like to get these screenshots, and I was collecting all these screenshots to make this video, there was a lot of positive reviews on this movie, and I'm like, why? There's a lot of fan art of this guy, and I'm just like, but why though? And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. There isn't much else to talk about with this movie, so I'm gonna do some self-promotion, if you don't mind. If you do like my content, you do like me as a content creator, you can help me in 2 ways. There is a subscribe button down there. Press that. And if you want to be notified when I take a look at Terrifier 2, which is coming out tomorrow, do press that notification bell and you'll be notified when I upload and when that video does drop. And if you do want more from me as a content creator to see what I have to offer, and you do want a little bit more Tyler Price in your life, you can check out the link in the description, which will take you to my TikTok, my Twitch, my Instagram, my Cameo, everything else that I have to offer as a content creator for you guys to enjoy. So, other than that, there isn't much else to talk about. Terrifier 3 is coming out soon, so I'll watch that when it does come out, and I will do yet another review for you guys, as I know you guys like this dude. I know it's only February, but I'm on a little bit of a horror movie streak right now. I don't know why. There's just a lot of horror movies on Paramount Plus, so I'm going through as many as I can on my late nights. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't have anything else to say. There's no LEGO customs for this movie either. I don't have the parts to make any of these characters, and I don't really want to either. So, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. See you all next one. Have a nice day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe.